First contact gone wrong. The red sands of Mars stretched endlessly under the pale Martian sky, a desolate landscape that had captivated human imagination for centuries. Dr. Samara Patel stood at the entrance of the research dome, her eyes fixed on the horizon where the first hint of sunset painted the sky in hues of orange and pink. It was beautiful, yes, but Samara couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Dr. Patel, the voice of her colleague, Dr. Chen Wei, crackled through her comm unit. "You need to see this. Now." Samara hurried back into the dome, her heart racing. Chen's voice held an urgency she'd never heard before. As she entered the main research lab, she found the entire team huddled around a bank of monitors, their faces a mix of excitement and disbelief. "What is it?" Samara asked, pushing her way to the front. Chen pointed to the central screen. The deep ground radar picked up something impossible. The image on the screen showed a cross-section of Martian soil, but nestled deep within the layers was a perfectly geometric shape, a massive cube, easily the size of a city block. "That's not natural," Samara whispered. "No," Chen agreed. "It's not." Within hours, the news had spread across the solar system. Humanity's first Martian colony, established just 5 years prior, had stumbled upon irrefutable evidence of an alien presence. The world held its breath as a team of engineers and scientists worked around the clock to excavate the site. 3 days later, they breached the outer shell of the structure. Captain Zoe Rodriguez led the first team into the alien construct. As her boots touched the smooth metallic floor, she felt a shiver run down her spine. The air inside was stale but breathable, and soft blue lights flickered to life as they advanced. "My God," whispered Dr. Alexei Volkov, the team's xenolinguist. "It's a research outpost. Look at these workstations, these databanks." As they explored deeper into the facility, they found no signs of recent occupation. It seemed the outpost had been abandoned, perhaps centuries ago. But why? The answer came 3 days later in the form of a massive ship dropping out of faster-than-light travel on the edge of the solar system. Admiral Helena Graves stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, Earth's most advanced warship, as she watched the alien vessel approach. It was unlike anything humanity had ever seen, a massive, organic-looking structure that seemed to pulse with internal energy. "Admiral," her communications officer called out, "we're receiving a transmission." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a being that defied easy description. It had multiple eyes arranged in a circle around what might have been a head, tentacle-like appendages, and skin that shimmered with bioluminescence. "Greetings, denizens of Sol," the alien's words came through the universal translator. "I am Emissary Zixlith of the Galactic Confederation. We have detected unauthorized access to one of our abandoned outposts. Explain yourselves." Admiral Graves stepped forward, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "Greetings, Emissary. I am Admiral Helena Graves of Earth. We discovered your outpost during our exploration of Mars. We meant no offense, we simply didn't know it was there." The alien's eyes blinked in an unsettling pattern. "Ignorance is no excuse for trespass. The Sol system falls under Confederation protection. Your species' expansion ends here." Graves felt a chill run down her spine. "With all due respect, Emissary, this is our home system. We have every right to explore and settle it." "You have no rights beyond what the Confederation grants you," Zixlith responded coldly. "You will withdraw from Mars immediately and cease all interplanetary activities. Failure to comply will result in corrective measures." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. "Orders, Admiral?" her XO asked quietly. Graves straightened her uniform, her jaw set in determination. "Alert Earth. All ships to battle stations. We're not abandoning Mars without a fight." As the UES Defiant prepared for the unthinkable, humanity's first interstellar war, teams on Mars raced to uncover the secrets of the alien outpost. Dr. Patel and her colleagues worked tirelessly, knowing that any information they could glean might be crucial for Earth's defense. "Look at this," Dr. Volkov called out, his fingers flying over an alien console. I think I've accessed their historical database." The team gathered around as images and text scrolled across the screen. Volkov's eyes widened as he translated. "The Confederation, they're not what they seem. This outpost, it wasn't abandoned. It was quarantined." "Quarantined?" Samara asked. "Why?" Volkov's face paled. "Because of us, humans. Early Confederation scouts encountered primitive humans on Earth thousands of years ago. They were terrified of our potential, our adaptability, our resilience, our capacity for both violence and compassion. They saw us as a threat to galactic stability." The implications were staggering. The Confederation hadn't come to protect the Sol system. They had come to contain what they saw as a dangerous species. As the first shots were fired in the orbit of Mars, humanity found itself fighting not just for territory, but for its very right to exist in the cosmos. The Confederation's advanced technology gave them a clear advantage, but they had underestimated the human spirit. Earth's governments, setting aside centuries of rivalry, united under a single banner. Every factory, every laboratory, every mind was bent towards the war effort. And in the crucible of conflict, humanity's greatest strengths began to shine. Admiral Graves watched from the bridge of the Defiant as Earth's hastily assembled fleet engaged the Confederation forces. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but human pilots flew with a daring that seemed to confound their alien opponents. "They're not used to this kind of resistance," Graves realized. "They expected us to surrender." On Mars, Dr. Patel and her team worked feverishly to unlock the secrets of Confederation technology. Each breakthrough, no matter how small, was immediately transmitted to Earth's defense forces. As the battle raged on, it became clear that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its ships or its guns. It was its fierce determination, its ability to adapt, and its unwavering refusal to go quietly into the night. The first day of the war ended not in defeat, as the Confederation had expected, but in a stalemate. And as Earth prepared for the battles to come, a message spread from ship to ship, from colony to colony. "We are humanity. We will not be contained. We will not be controlled. And we will show the galaxy what we're truly capable of." The cosmic crucible had begun, and humanity was ready to prove its worth among the stars. The siege of Sol, the vast emptiness of space, erupted into a dazzling display of destruction as the Confederation Armada arrived in full force. Thousands of alien ships, each a masterpiece of advanced technology, filled the void between Mars and Earth. Admiral Helena Graves stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, her face illuminated by the tactical hologram displaying the overwhelming odds they faced. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Her XO, Commander Raj Sharma," responded grimly. "The Confederation fleet outnumbers us 10-1, Admiral. Their energy signatures are off the charts. Our conventional weapons barely scratch their shields." Graves nodded, her mind racing through possibilities. "And the lunar defense grid?" "Online and ready, but untested against this level of firepower." As if on cue, the comm channel crackled to life. "Admiral Graves, this is General Zhang from Lunar Command. We're detecting multiple incoming projectiles. They're targeting Earth's major cities." Graves' eyes narrowed. "Not on my watch. All ships, initiate protocol umbrella. I want every last one of those projectiles intercepted." Across Earth's orbit, humanity's ractic fleet of hastily upgraded civilian ships and experimental military vessels sprang into action. Pilots pushed their crafts to the limit, weaving through the deadly barrage to protect their homeworld. On the surface of the blue planet, billions watched the skies with a mixture of terror and hope. In New Delhi, a young girl named Proya clutched her father's hand as streaks of light crisscrossed the night sky. "Are we going to be okay, Papa?" she whispered. Her father, Dr. Arjun Mehta, One of Earth's leading physicists squeezed her hand reassuringly. "We will be better. Humanity has faced impossible odds before. We always find a way." Back in space, the battle raged on. Confederation ships pressed their advantage, their superior technology allowing them to shrug off most of humanity's attacks. But as the hours stretched on, something unexpected began to happen. "Admiral," Commander Sharma called out, "look at this telemetry data from Squad 7. Graves studied the readouts, her eyes widening in surprise. A small group of human fighters had adapted their flight patterns, using the gravity wells of nearby asteroids to slingshot themselves at impossible speeds. The maneuver allowed them to briefly penetrate the Confederation's shields, dealing actual damage. Incredible, Graves breathed. Broadcast this data to all ships. Tell them to adapt and improvise." As the siege entered its second day, Earth's defenders began to show why the Confederation had feared human potential. In labs and workshops across the planet, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, reverse engineering captured alien tech and combining it with human ingenuity. Dr. Mehta stood before a team of international scientists, his eyes blazing with excitement. "The Confederation's shields operate on a frequency we can disrupt. If we modulate our weapons to emit a counter-frequency, we can create temporary windows of vulnerability." In orbit, these breakthroughs translated into small but significant victories. Human ships, though still outgunned, began to land telling blows against their alien opponents. But the Confederation was far from defeated. As the third day of the siege dawned, they unveiled a weapon that threatened to turn the tide decisively in their favor. Energy spike detected. A sensor officer on the Defiant shouted, It's like nothing we've ever seen." A massive Confederation dreadnought, easily 10 times the size of any other ship in their fleet, moved into position. A swirling vortex of energy began to form at its bow, growing larger by the second. "They're going to fire on Earth directly," Graves realized with horror. "All ships, converge on that dreadnought. We have to stop that weapon from discharging." What followed was perhaps the most desperate hour in human history. Every available ship, from nimble fighters to lumbering freighters, threw themselves at the dreadnought. Graves watched, her heart in her throat, as vessel after vessel sacrificed itself in an attempt to disrupt the weapon's charge. Just when all seemed lost, a lone ship broke through the Confederation's defenses. The UES Horizon, commanded by Captain Zoe Rodriguez, the same woman who had first entered the alien outpost on Mars, streaked towards the dreadnought's vulnerable energy core. "This is Captain Rodriguez." Her voice came through clear on all channels. "For Earth." The Horizon collided with the dreadnought in a blinding explosion. For a moment, it seemed as if the universe itself held its breath. Then, like a string of dominoes, secondary explosions rippled across the massive alien ship. The energy vortex collapsed in on itself, and the dreadnought began to break apart. A cheer went up across the human fleet, but Graves allowed herself only a moment of relief. "Press the advantage," she ordered. "Don't let them regroup." The destruction of the dreadnought marked a turning point in the battle. The Confederation, for the first time, seemed shaken. Their formation began to falter, and more of their ships fell to Earth's increasingly effective countermeasures. As the fourth day of the siege began, humanity dared to hope. They had bloodied the nose of a galactic superpower, proving that determination and adaptability could stand against even the most advanced technology. But the war was far from over. Even as Earth celebrated its first major victory, Dr. Samira Patel and her team on Mars made a discovery that would change the course of the conflict. "Admiral Graves," Samira's excited voice came through on a priority channel. "We've done it. We've cracked the Confederation's FTL communications network. We can listen in on their transmissions." Graves felt a surge of hope. "Excellent work, Doctor. What have you learned?" "The Confederation, they're scared, Admiral. Not just of us, but of something else. Something coming from deep space. I think I think we might not be the only ones fighting for survival." As Graves digested this information, she knew that humanity's next moves would be crucial. They had proven they could stand against the Confederation, but to secure their place in the galaxy, they would need to push beyond mere survival. "Commander Sharma," she said, turning to her XO, "prepare a briefing for Earth's leaders. It's time we take this fight beyond our solar system." The siege of Sol had been weathered, but the true test of humanity's resilience was just beginning. As ships limped back for repairs and the people of Earth emerged from their shelters, a new sense of purpose filled the air. Humanity had looked extinction in the face and hadn't blinked. Now they would show the galaxy what they were truly capable of. In cast rooms and news feeds across the world, a phrase began to circulate, capturing the spirit of a species that refused to be cowed. Ad astra per aspera, to the stars through difficulties. The cosmic crucible continued to burn, and humanity was being forged into something greater than anyone, alien or human, had ever imagined. Reverse engineering and adaptation. The cavernous hangar of the Lunar Research Facility buzzed with activity. Scientists and engineers from every corner of Earth swarmed around the twisted hulk of a downed Confederation ship, its alien alloys still cooling from atmospheric entry. Dr. Arjun Mehta stood at the center of the organized chaos, his eyes gleaming with excitement as he directed teams to different sections of the vessel. "Dr. Mehta," a young researcher called out, waving a handheld scanner. "We've isolated the power source. It's unlike anything we've ever seen." Arjun hurried over, his mind already racing with possibilities. As he studied the readouts, a smile spread across his face. "This isn't just a power source," he murmured. "It's the key to unlocking their faster-than-light technology." Across the solar system, similar scenes played out as humanity threw itself into understanding and adapting the advanced technology of their would-be conquerors. The siege of Sol had been repelled, but Earth's leaders knew that this was merely the opening salvo in a much larger conflict. In orbit around Mars, Dr. Samira Patel led a team in decoding the vast database recovered from the abandoned Confederation outpost. Each breakthrough sent ripples of excitement through the scientific community. "It's not just technology," Samira explained during a high-level briefing, her holographic form flickering slightly as it was broadcast across millions of kilometers. "The Confederation's database contains the history of dozens of alien species, star charts spanning half the galaxy, and something else. References to a threat that even they fear." Admiral Helena Graves leaned forward, her brow furrowed. What kind of threat could scare a civilization capable of laying siege to an entire star system? Samara shook her head. "That's just it, Admiral. The references are fragmented, almost as if they've been deliberately obscured. But whatever it is, I believe it's the real reason behind their aggressive stance towards humanity." As the briefing concluded, Graves turned to her aide. "Get me a secure channel to the UN Security Council. They need to hear this directly." Meanwhile, in workshops and laboratories across Earth and its colonies, human ingenuity began to bear fruit. The reverse-engineered Confederation tech was merged with existing human designs, creating hybrid systems that often surpassed their alien counterparts in unexpected ways. In a sprawling facility in Nairobi, a team led by Dr. Kwesi Okoro put the finishing touches on humanity's first faster-than-light engine. "It's not just about copying their designs," Kwesi explained to a group of wide-eyed apprentices. "It's about understanding the principles and then pushing them further than even the Confederation imagined." The engine, a sleek fusion of alien crystals and human engineering, hummed to life. As the team cheered, Kwesi allowed himself a moment of pride. "With this," he said softly, "we can take the fight to them." But not everyone viewed these rapid advancements with optimism. In the halls of power, debates raged about the course humanity should take. "We should sue for peace," argued one diplomat during a heated UN session. "We've proven we can defend ourselves. Why risk further conflict?" "Peace," scoffed another. "The Confederation tried to wipe us out. We should use our new technology to strike back hard and fast. As the arguments continued, a lone figure rose to speak. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, mother of the late Captain Zoe Rodriguez, who had sacrificed herself to turn the tide of the Siege of Seoul, addressed the assembly. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, her voice soft but carrying unmistakable strength. The easy path would be to retreat into isolation or to lash out in vengeance. But we must be better than that. The stars are filled with wonders and terrors beyond our imagination. Our task now is not just to survive, but to become a force for good in this vast, unknown galaxy. Her words struck a chord. In the days that followed, a new initiative was launched, the Nova Project. Its mission was twofold: to prepare humanity for the challenges that lay ahead in deep space, and to seek out potential allies among the stars. As preparations for humanity's first intentional interstellar mission got underway, the Confederation was not idle. Their own spies and long-range sensors detected the surge of activity in the Sol system. In a chamber deep within the Confederation's central nexus, the High Council convened an emergency session. "The humans advance faster than we anticipated," growled Zixlith, the emissary who had first contacted Earth. "We must crush them now, before they become a true threat." But another counselor, a being of shifting light and shadow named Lerutau, raised a note of caution. "Our initial assessment may have been flawed. These humans have demonstrated remarkable adaptability. Perhaps we should reconsider our approach." As the council debated, a junior aide rushed in, its tendrils quivering with alarm. "Counselors, our long-range sensors have detected something approaching from the galactic rim. It matches the energy signature of them." A hush fell over the chamber. Even Zixlith's belligerence faltered in the face of this news. Lertau's form pulsed with concern. "We may have made a grave mistake in antagonizing the humans. If the ancient enemy has truly returned, we will need every ally we can muster." Back on Earth, blissfully unaware of the Confederation's internal strife, humanity continued its feverish preparations. The first ship of the Nova Project, christened the UES Prometheus, stood ready in its lunar dock. Its crew, drawn from the best and brightest across the globe, represented the pinnacle of human skill and determination. As the day of launch approached, Admiral Graves addressed the crew. "You carry with you the hopes and dreams of our entire species," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "But remember, you also carry our values. In the vastness of space, you will be the embodiment of humanity's spirit. Make us proud." The Prometheus's revolutionary engines flared to life, and with a flash of light that outshone the sun, humanity took its first deliberate step into the cosmic ocean. As the ship disappeared into the depths of space, Dr. Arjun Mehta stood with his daughter Priya, watching the launch from a viewport on Luna. Priya's eyes were wide with wonder. "Where do you think they'll go, Papa?" she asked. Arjun smiled, putting an arm around her shoulders. "Wherever they go, Beta, they carry the best of us with them. And when they return, they'll bring back knowledge that will change everything." Unknown to the brave crew of the Prometheus or the billions of humans watching their departure, the galaxy was holding its breath. Ancient forces were stirring, alliances were shifting, and humanity was about to be thrust onto a stage larger than they had ever imagined. The crucible of conflict had forged humanity into something new, a species ready to claim its place among the stars. But as the Prometheus ventured into the unknown, one question lingered. Would humanity's resilience and ingenuity be enough to face the challenges that lay ahead? The Nova Initiative. The sleek silhouette of the UES Prometheus sliced through the fabric of space-time, its revolutionary engines humming with power that would have been unimaginable to humanity just months ago. On the bridge, Captain Aisha Kazmi stood before the main viewport, her dark eyes reflecting the swerving colors of FTL travel. "Status report," she called out, her voice calm, but tinged with the excitement of exploration. Her XO, Lieutenant Commander Jack O'Neill, responded promptly. "All systems nominal, Captain. We're approaching the coordinates of the nearest non-Confederation world according to the Mars Outpost database. Aisha nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. Very well. Prepare to drop out of FTL. Let's introduce ourselves to the galaxy. As the Prometheus reverted to normal space, the crew gasped collectively. Before them hung a world of breathtaking beauty, swirling purple clouds parting to reveal continents of deep green and oceans of silvery blue. Life signs detected, announced the science officer, Dr. Yuki Tanaka. And artificial structures. There's a civilization down there. The comm system crackled to life, a melodious voice speaking in an alien language. Within moments, the ship's advanced translation matrix, derived from Confederation tech, began to decipher the message. Unknown vessel, you have entered Zaytari space. Identify yourself and state your intentions. Captain Kazmi took a deep breath. This was the moment humanity had been preparing for. This is Captain Aisha Kazmi of the Earth ship Prometheus. We come in peace, seeking friendship and alliance. There was a long pause before the reply came. Earth? We know of no such world, but your ship, it bears similarities to Confederation design. Are you their emissaries? Aisha's eyes narrowed. No, she said firmly. We are an independent species. In fact, we recently repelled a Confederation attack on our home system. Another pause, longer this time. Then you fought the Confederation and survived. Perhaps we have much to discuss, humans of Earth. Prepare to receive landing coordinates. As the Prometheus descended through the alien atmosphere, the crew marveled at the otherworldly beauty of the Zaytari world. Towering spires of crystal rose from lush forests, and beings of ethereal grace watched the human ship with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. The diplomatic meeting that followed was tense at first, but as the humans shared their story, their rapid technological advancement, their successful defense against overwhelming odds, and their determination to forge their own path among the stars, the Zaytari's caution gave way to admiration. For millennia, we have hidden from the Confederation, explained Zelara, the Zaytari leader. We believed resistance was futile, but you, humans of Earth, you have shown us another way. As the days passed, an alliance began to form. The Zaytari, masters of biotechnology, shared their knowledge freely with the eager human scientists. In return, the crew of the Prometheus helped upgrade the Zaytari's planetary defenses with reverse-engineered Confederation tech. But their newfound friendship was about to face its first test. Multiple FTL signatures detected. Lieutenant Commander O'Neill shouted, interrupting the cultural exchange session. Confederation ships incoming. Captain Kazmi's eyes hardened. Battle stations. Zelara will do everything in our power to protect your world. The Zaytari leader's luminescent eyes widened. You would fight for us, but you barely know us. Aisha's response was firm. That's what allies do. What followed was a battle that would be remembered in the annals of both human and Zaytari history. The Prometheus, despite being outnumbered, used tactics developed during the Siege of Sol to run circles around the Confederation ships. The Zaytari, inspired by human bravery, joined the fight with ships of their own, organic vessels that seemed to phase in and out of reality. As the last Confederation ship retreated, its hull scared and smoking, a cheer went up from both human and Zaytari crews. Zelara, her voice filled with emotion, addressed Captain Kazmi. You have done more than save our world, humans. You have given us hope. We are not alone in standing against the Confederation's tyranny. News of the battle spread quickly through the sector. Other worlds that had long chafed under Confederation rule or lived in fear of discovery began to reach out. The Nova Initiative, conceived as a mission of exploration and diplomacy, was rapidly becoming the seed of a galactic resistance movement. Back on Earth, Admiral Graves received the Prometheus report with a mixture of pride and concern. They've done well, she murmured to her aide, but I fear we've kicked a hornet's nest. Her fears were not unfounded. In the heart of Confederation space, the High Council was in an uproar. "These humans are a plague," Zyxlith raged. "They spread dissent wherever they go. We must mobilize the entire fleet and crush them, along with any who would ally with them." But Lurto, the Counselor of Caution, raised her voice. "And what of the ancient enemy? Our long-range sensors confirm they are on the move. Can we afford a two-front war?" As the Council debated, a decision was reached. A significant portion of the Confederation fleet would be sent to deal with the human problem once and for all, but this decision would have far-reaching consequences that none could foresee. On the fringes of known space, something stirred. Ancient machines, dormant for millennia, began to awaken. Their directive, programmed eons ago, remained unchanged: seek out and destroy all advanced organic life. As the Confederation fleet prepared to depart for Earth, as the Prometheus and its new allies celebrated their victory, as humanity dreamed of a bright future among the stars, a new threat was silently approaching. The true test of not just humanity, but all life in the galaxy, was about to begin. Aboard the Prometheus, blissfully unaware of the gathering storm, Captain Kazmi addressed her crew and their new Zatari friends. "Today, we've taken the first steps towards a new future. A future where species stand together, where tyranny is challenged, and where the wonders of the cosmos are open to all. The road ahead will not be easy, but together, I believe there's nothing we cannot achieve." As her words echoed through the ship and across subspace to Earth, humanity stood on the brink of its greatest adventure and its greatest peril. The Nova Initiative had succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams, but it had also set in motion events that would reshape the galaxy forever. The cosmic crucible burned hotter than ever, and in its flames, the fate of entire civilizations hung in the balance. Battle for the Nexus. The war room aboard the UES Artemis, Earth's newest and most advanced warship, was a hive of activity. Holograms flickered, displaying star charts, fleet movements, and real-time battle data from across the galaxy. At the center of it all stood Admiral Helena Graves, her face etched with the weight of command. "The intelligence is solid," she said, addressing the assembled leaders of the newly formed Galactic Alliance. "The Confederation's Central Command Nexus is located here, in the Cygnus X1 system." Captain Aisha Kazmi of the Prometheus leaned forward, her eyes narrowing as she studied the holographic representation of the system. A black hole. They built their headquarters next to a black hole. Zelara, the Jitari leader, rippled with bioluminescence, their species equivalent of a nod. A clever strategy. The gravitational distortions would make it nearly impossible to detect or approach, for most species. Admiral Graves allowed herself a small smile. "But not for us. Thanks to Dr. Meta's breakthroughs in gravitic manipulation, we have a window of opportunity." The plan was audacious, perhaps even foolhardy. A joint fleet of human, Zatari, and other allied ships would launch a massive assault on the Nexus. It was a gamble, committing so much of their forces to one battle, but the potential payoff was enormous. If they could cripple the Confederation's Central Command, it could turn the tide of the war. As the fleet assembled at the rendezvous point, tension ran high. This would be the largest engagement since the Siege of Seoul, and for many of Earth's allies, it would be their first major battle against their former oppressors. Aboard the Artemis, Admiral Graves addressed the fleet. "Today, we fight not just for Earth, not just for our individual worlds, but for the freedom of every sentient being in this galaxy. The Confederation believed they could divide us, that fear would keep us in line. But they underestimated the power of unity, of hope, and of the unbreakable spirit that binds us all. Today, we show them the true strength of our alliance." A cheer went up across the comm channels, a cacophony of voices from a dozen different species united in purpose. The journey to Cygnus X1 was tense, the fleet pushing their engines to the limit. As they dropped out of FTL on the outskirts of the system, the true scale of their task became apparent. The Confederation Nexus was a marvel of engineering, a massive space station orbiting perilously close to the black hole, protected by layer upon layer of energy shields and surrounded by a defensive fleet that dwarfed anything the Alliance had faced before. "By the Cosmic Mothers," Zalara whispered, their bioluminescence dimming in awe. But there was no time for hesitation. The element of surprise was their greatest weapon, and they used it to devastating effect. The Alliance fleet burst into action, their ships executing maneuvers that would have been impossible just months ago. Human ingenuity, Jatari biotechnology, and the unique abilities of a dozen other species combined into a force that took the Confederation completely off guard. Shields flickered and fell, defensive platforms exploded, and confused chatter filled the Confederation comm channels. Yet, as the initial shock wore off, the tide began to turn. The Confederation's numerical superiority began to tell, and the Alliance fleet found itself being slowly pushed back. "We need to punch a hole in their defenses," Captain Kazmi shouted over the comm. "Admiral, commissioned to take the Prometheus on a run at their main shield generator." Graves hesitated for a split second. The Prometheus was their most advanced ship, the symbol of humanity's leap to the stars. Losing it would be a devastating blow, but the determination in Kazmi's voice was clear. "Permission granted, Captain. Give them hell." What followed was a display of piloting that would be studied in academies for generations to come. The Prometheus, accompanied by a squadron of Jatari bioships, dove towards the Nexus. They weaved through a maelstrom of weapons fire, using the black hole's gravitational pull to slingshot around the station at impossible speeds. At the last moment, as the Confederation's guns tracked onto them, the Jatari ships peeled away. The Prometheus, however, kept going. "For Earth, for the Alliance," Captain Kazmi's voice rang out clear and strong as her ship slammed into the shield generator in a blinding explosion. The Nexus's shields collapsed, and the Alliance fleet surged forward, but the battle was far from over. As Alliance boarding parties fought their way through the station's corridors, a startling discovery was made. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, leading a team of scientists, broke into the Nexus's central database. "Admiral," she called out, her voice shaking. "You need to see this. The Confederation, they've been hiding something from everyone, even their own people." The data streamed back to the Artemis, revealing a truth more shocking than anyone could have imagined. The Confederation hadn't formed out of a desire for power or control, but out of fear. Fear of an ancient, implacable enemy that had nearly wiped out all life in the galaxy eons ago. "They're called the Harvesters," Dr. Tanaka explained, her voice hushed. "Machines left behind by a long-dead race, programmed to eradicate all advanced organic life. The Confederation was formed to stand against them, but somewhere along the way, they became the very thing they feared." As this revelation spread through the Alliance fleet, the nature of the conflict shifted. It was no longer just a battle for freedom, but a fight for the very survival of all organic life in the galaxy. In the heart of the Nexus, Admiral Graves found herself face to face with the Confederation's supreme commander, a being of swirling energy contained within a crystalline shell. "You don't understand what you've done," the commander said, its voice resonating with despair. "The Harvesters are coming. Without a united front, without the resources of 100 worlds under our control, how can we hope to stop them?" Graves stood tall, her eyes flashing with determination. "Not through tyranny, not through fear. We'll face this threat as we faced everything else, together, as equals, each bringing our own strengths to the fight." As the last pockets of Confederation resistance were quelled, a new alarm blared through the Nexus. Long-range sensors, more powerful than anything the Alliance possessed, had detected something massive approaching from the depths of intergalactic space. The Harvesters had arrived. As the Alliance fleet regrouped, as former enemies became uneasy allies in the face of extinction, humanity once again found itself at the forefront of a cosmic crucible. They had sparked a revolution, overthrown an empire, and united a fractious galaxy. Now, they would have to dig deeper than ever before to find the strength, the ingenuity, and the sheer determination to face a threat beyond imagination. The battle for the Nexus was over, but the war for survival was just beginning. And in this darkest hour, it was humanity's light that would have to guide the way. A new dawn for the galaxy. The vast emptiness of intergalactic space shimmered and distorted as the Harvester fleet emerged from the void. Countless machines, each the size of a small moon, advanced implacably towards the Milky Way. Their purpose, programmed eons ago by their long-extinct creators, remained unchanged: seek out and destroy all advanced organic life. In the Cygnus X1 system, aboard the captured Confederation Nexus, an uneasy alliance of former enemies watched the approaching doom with a mixture of fear and determination. Admiral Helena Grace stood at the center of the war room, surrounded by representatives from dozens of species. The Confederation's supreme commander, now more of a reluctant advisor than a prisoner, hovered nearby. The Harvesters will be within striking distance of the Outer Rim worlds in less than a standard week, the commander said, its crystalline form pulsing with anxiety. We've spent millennia preparing for this moment, and yet I fear we are woefully unprepared. Graves nodded grimly, but her eyes held a spark of defiance. Perhaps the Confederation alone was unprepared, but you're not alone anymore. She turned to address the assembled leaders. We've all fought each other, we've all suffered, but now we face extinction. It's time to put aside our differences and pool our knowledge, our technology, and our determination. Zelaura, the Jitari leader, stepped forward. The humans speak wisdom. Our biotechnology, combined with Confederation gravitic weapons and human ingenuity, might give us a fighting chance. For the next few days, the Nexus became a hub of feverish activity. Scientists and engineers from 100 worlds worked around the clock, combining technologies in ways never before imagined. The forge of necessity burned hot, and from it emerged innovations that would have taken decades to develop in peacetime. Dr. Arjun Mehta, working alongside his Zatari counterparts, made a breakthrough in quantum entanglement communication. We can coordinate our fleets across vast distances without any signal lag, he explained, his eyes alight with excitement. The Harvesters won't be able to intercept or jam our communications. Meanwhile, Captain Aisha Kazmi, who had miraculously survived the Prometheus' sacrifice, led a team in developing new battle strategies. The Harvesters are relentless and unfeeling, she said, addressing a group of alien tacticians. But that's also their weakness. They can't adapt on the fly like we can. We'll use that against them. As the day of reckoning approached, a combined fleet unlike any the galaxy had ever seen assembled near the Cygnus X1 black hole. Ships of every size and design, from sleek human vessels to organic Zatari cruisers, from repurposed Confederation dreadnoughts to ships from species that had hidden from galactic politics for millennia, formed up in a defensive array. Admiral Graves, standing on the bridge of the UES Artemis, took a deep breath before addressing the fleet. We are about to face the greatest threat our galaxy has ever known. The Harvesters see us as nothing more than resources to be consumed, our civilizations as weeds to be culled. But we are more than that. We are thinking, feeling, dreaming beings. We create art and music. We love, we hope, we imagine. Today, we fight not just for our survival, but for our right to exist as we are. She paused, her words resonating across countless comm channels. Humanity is the youngest species among us, but our history has prepared us for this moment. We've faced extinction before, in our cradle on Earth. Every time, we've come back stronger. We refused to go quietly into the night then, and we refuse now. That spirit, that undying determination, lives in all of us. Today, we are all human in our defiance against the dark. A roar of approval echoed through the fleet, transcending language and species barriers. As one, they moved to meet the Harvester Armada. The battle that followed would be spoken of for generations to come. The Harvesters, true to their nature, advanced without fear or hesitation. But they found themselves facing an enemy unlike any they had encountered in their eons-long mission of destruction. The Tari bioships phased in and out of reality, striking at the Harvester's weak points. Confederation gravitic weapons created localized singularities, tearing apart Harvester vessels. And at the heart of it all, human ships started and weaved, their unorthodox tactics keeping the machine intelligence off balance. Yet, for every Harvester ship destroyed, more seemed to take its place. The Allied fleet found itself slowly being pushed back, and hope began to fade. It was then that Dr. Yuki Tanaka, working with a team of xenolinguists and computer specialists, made a crucial discovery. The Harvesters operate on a quantum neural network, she explained hurriedly to Admiral Graves. If we can infiltrate it and introduce a paradox into their core programming, we might be able to shut them down. The plan was dangerous, requiring a small team to board the Harvester mothership. Captain Kazmi volunteered immediately. The Prometheus started this journey, she said, her voice firm. It's fitting that I see it through. As Kazmi and her multinational, multi-species team fought their way through the cavernous interior of the Harvester mothership, the battle outside reached its crescendo. Ships on both sides fell by the thousands, and for a moment, it seemed as if the universe itself held its breath. In the heart of the mothership, Kazmi faced down the central AI core of the Harvesters. With a mixture of human intuition, Jetari empathy, and the combined scientific knowledge of a dozen worlds, they introduced a simple question into the Harvester network. What is the purpose of life? The paradox, so simple yet so profound, rippled through the quantum neural network. The Harvester fleet faltered, their simple directive to destroy advanced life coming into conflict with the deeper question of why life should exist at all. In that moment of confusion, the Allied fleet struck with everything they had. Harvester ships began to fall, their coordination shattered. As the mothership itself began to collapse, Kazmi and her team were beamed to safety at the last possible second. The Harvesters, the threat that had loomed over the galaxy for eons, were no more. As the dust settled and the surviving ships limped back to friendly space, the full weight of what had been accomplished began to sink in. Species that had been bitter enemies mere weeks ago now embraced as brothers in arms. The galaxy had faced annihilation and emerged stronger, more united than ever before. In the following months, a new galactic society began to take shape. The Confederation was dissolved, replaced by a galactic council where all species, from the eldest to the youngest, had an equal voice. The Nexus, once a symbol of oppression, was transformed into a center of learning and cooperation. Humanity, the upstart species that had sparked a revolution and helped save the galaxy, found itself at the forefront of this new era. Earth became a hub of interstellar commerce and cultural exchange, its universities filled with students from 100 worlds. Admiral Graves, speaking at the inaugural session of the Galactic Council, summed up the feelings of many. We came to the stars seeking knowledge, adventure, and our place in the cosmos. We found conflict, yes, but also friendship, diversity, and a shared spirit that transcends the boundaries of biology and culture. The crucible of these past years has forged us into something greater than we ever imagined. The dawn of a new age is upon us, and together, there is nothing we cannot achieve. As her words echoed across the galaxy, on countless worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes looked up at the stars with a new sense of wonder and possibility. The cosmic crucible had burned hot, but from its flames, a brighter future had emerged. Humanity had not only secured its place among the stars, it had helped reshape the very fabric of galactic society. And as new challenges and adventures loomed on the horizon, the spirit that had carried them through their darkest hour burned brighter than ever. The end was just the beginning.